Today on Public Eye News, Ohio man hospitalized following snowmobile crash near Lake Linden, and 3 suspects arrested for meth and other drug charges.
Later, I will have a look at weather, and Jillian Wormlinger has a walk through sports. Hi, I'm Mason Walls.
And I'm Jillian Wormlinger, and this is Public Eye News. Wednesday evening, an Ohio man was hospitalized after crashing his snowmobile near Lake Linden. A 65-year-old man from Ohio was on a trail when he failed to negotiate a turn and crashed into a group of trees. He suffered hip and leg injuries, so he was unable to walk or stand. The man was able to call authorities for help using his cell phone. Bootjack first responders helped the man off the trail, and he was taken to Asperis Keweenaw Hospital for treatment. And the Upper Peninsula Substance Enforcement Team arrested 3 people from Delta County after a crystal meth investigation. 23-year-old Taylor Ann Shanahan and 40-year-old Glenn Thomas Lavance were involved in distribution of crystal meth. A third suspect, 27-year-old Zachary Tyler Tryan, was also arrested on drug-related charges. All 3 suspects were lodged in the Delta County Jail. Currently, both Shanahan and Lavance remain lodged in the Delta County Jail on a $50,000 bond.
At least 3 offices at the Peninsula Medical Center are closed today after a water main break that occurred early this morning. The break was reported at 7 a.m. near the Waldo Street entrance, and some parts of the building did not have water. The Eye Associates of Marquette and Surgical Associates of Marquette both closed at 10 a.m. this morning, while Marquette Internal Medicine and Pediatrics Associates will be closing at 1 p.m. Crews are working quickly to repair the issue before the winter storm hits this afternoon. And the UP 200 and the Midnight Run are set to take place next Friday, February 15th on Washington Street in downtown Marquette. Sled dog teams will come to test their skills on a technically challenging trail. The Marquette Commons will be open to the public from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. to give spectators the opportunity to warm up. Many other businesses will be having warm-up events of their own, and you can find more information at downtownmarquette.org.
And this Sunday, the Marquette City Band is bringing musical selections from here to there to Forrest Roberts Theater in their 2019 winter concert. Directed by Dr. Stephen Grugan, Winter Scenes is a variety concert with something for everyone to enjoy. The performance includes everything from standard marches to Broadway themes to action and cartoon melodies. The concert will take place Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. at Northern Michigan University's FRT. And following the end of the government shutdown, National Park Service personnel went to Isle Royale to prepare for the 61st annual wolf-moose population monitoring. The extreme cold weather prevented any translocation of wolves from Ontario last week. Mark Romansky, Isle Royale's National Parks Division Chief for Natural Resources, had been monitoring GPS data from each of the translocated wolves in preparation for the Canadian wolves. Rolf Peterson, principal investigator for MTU, and his contracted pilot, Don Murray of Up North Aerials, were in the air radio tracking the translocated wolves. The plane returned to Wendigo with Peterson suspecting a wolf had departed the island. The wolf departed the island on January 31st on the border between Canada and northeastern Minnesota. MTU researchers will stay on Isle Royale to complete annual survey efforts until March 4th. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
Tell me what devil got into your hands, made you attack your teacher.
You don't understand, Ma.
Make me.
A dedicated inner-city high school teacher struggles to save her son from an educational system that seems rigged against him.
They don't care what space and place I'm in.
He's not a criminal. Get the nurse now. Tell me how to save you. Tell me what would take this failure away.
Pipeline, on Live from Lincoln Center.
Good morning, class.
Friday night at 9 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. On Wednesday, a 17-year police veteran was shot and killed as he served a warrant on Milwaukee's South Side. He becomes the 3rd police officer who has been shot to death in Milwaukee in only 8 months. Officer Matthew Rittner was a member of the Milwaukee Police Department's Technical Enforcement Unit, which was carrying out a search warrant on someone who was wanted for illegally selling drugs and firearms. The 35-year-old officer was hit with gunfire and taken to a hospital where he later died. Rittner was also a Marine Corps veteran and began his law enforcement career back in 2001. And Democrats took control of the House in the last election based in part on their promise of oversight of the Trump administration. That push to expand scrutiny of the president begins today on Capitol Hill, where House committees will begin hearings on a variety of topics. Mola Lengi has those details.
Democrats are launching new investigations into President Trump's personal finances, including a hearing today on whether presidents should be required to make their tax returns public.
I think overwhelmingly the public wants to see the president's tax returns. And so they want to know the truth. They want to know the facts.
Wednesday, Congressman Adam Schiff announced the House Intelligence Committee's investigation of possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia will be expanding to look into whether the president is making policy decisions based on any financial interests with Russia.
Will allow us to investigate any credible allegation that financial interests or other interests are driving the decision-making of the president or anyone in the administration.
President Trump tweeted this morning, after having found zero Russian collusion, he is going to be looking at every aspect of my life, both financial and personal, even though there is no reason to be doing so. The president calls it harassment.
On what basis would he do that? He has no basis to do that. He's just a political hack who's trying to build a name for himself.
President Trump used his State of the Union speech to denounce what he calls ridiculous partisan investigations. Democrats call it oversight.
We will not surrender our constitutional responsibility for oversight. That would make us delinquent in our duties.
Tomorrow, House Democrats will question Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker about his oversight of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, and they have a subpoena ready to go if he tries to avoid answering questions.
In the Netherlands, thousands of students skipped classes Thursday and marched past the Dutch parliament, calling for more ambitious climate policies. The peaceful demonstration by Dutch students follows similar marches in recent weeks in neighboring Belgium that also have drawn thousands of protesters. Organizers of the Dutch March in The Hague said they want to send a wake-up call to politicians who are wrestling with how best to rein in on greenhouse gas emissions. A group of about 350 scientists and researchers published an open letter in support of the march. The organizers of the Dutch March in The Hague had hoped for some 3,000 marchers, but got far more, although police did not give an official estimate of the crowd's size. And Virginia's political chaos is showing no signs of ending, with the state's top 3 elected officials all embroiled in controversy. Nicole Killian has the latest from Washington, D.C.
With Virginia's lieutenant governor, attorney general, and governor all caught up in scandal, voters in the state are looking for a way forward.
Nothing's going to get done in the government the way it is, though. You know, I'm not an expert. That's just how I feel.
I'm just disappointed that this has to happen to us, the citizens of Virginia.
Attorney General Mark Herring admitted Wednesday he wore blackface to a college costume party in 1980. In a statement, he said, "I have a glaring example from my past that I have thought about with deep regret in the many years since." Just a few days ago, Herring called for Governor Ralph Northam to resign over a racist photo in his medical school yearbook.
The history of blackface in this country is the history of racism in this country, the history of slavery in this country.
Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax is first in line to replace Northam if the governor resigns, but Fairfax has his own scandal, a sexual assault allegation. His accuser, Vanessa Tyson, released a statement saying at the 2004 Democratic Convention in Boston, consensual kissing quickly turned into a sexual assault. Fairfax has denied her allegation and said in a statement, "Reading Dr. Tyson's account is painful. I have never done anything like what she suggests." Northam and Fairfax spoke on the phone today. One aide described the call as, quote, "very affable," but no other details were released. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
And after this break, we'll be back with your weather and sports.
This building is Steward Observatory at the University of Arizona in Tucson. It began as one building with one telescope. Now, Steward Observatory has become much more than this one building. This is the story of Steward Observatory.
Tuesday at 8:30 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Mason Wallace with a look at your weather. And as you can see behind me on the Academic Mall, we are getting quite a lot of snow right now, which is expected to accumulate into several inches tonight and into tomorrow. Moving on to current conditions, it is currently cloudy with a temperature of 21, with winds north-northeast at 5 miles an hour and a barometric pressure of 30 and falling. Tonight it's going to be more snow with a low of 17 and winds north-northeast at 7 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be, you guessed it, more snow with a high of 22 degrees with winds northeast at 13 miles an hour. And taking a look across the UP, it is 17 degrees and snowing way up in Sault Ste. Marie, and it is 20 degrees down in Manistee, 22 degrees in Escanaba, 26 down in Menominee. Switching to the western half of the UP, it is 19 degrees in Iron Mountain, 19 degrees again in Ironwood, 23 degrees up in the Keweenaw, and 20 degrees back here in Marquette. Let's take a look at your week ahead. Saturday, you can expect a high of 16 and a low of 7 and mostly cloudy. Sunday, a high of 19 with a low of 7 and cloudy. And Monday, a high of 22 with a low of 7 and partly cloudy. Well, Julian, the weather's been pretty cold outside, but I hear NMU basketball is really starting to heat up.
They sure are. Both teams are hitting the court. The NMU basketball teams return to the Berry Event Center tonight after a 2-game road trip hosting Saginaw Valley State in GLIAC play. Both men's and women's teams are coming off of road wins over Purdue Northwest, with the women earning a narrow 44-40 victory over the Pride, while the men were victorious by a score of 86-74. Both the men and women topped SVSU on the road back on December 1st. Tip-off from the Berry Events Center begins with the women at 5:30 p.m. with the men to follow at 7:30. And yesterday was a big day for aspiring college football players nationwide, with thousands signing their national letters of intent on National Signing Day. The first day a high school senior can commit to a colleague report. The NMU football team inked 26 recruits for the upcoming season, 12 of which are from Michigan and 6 from the Upper Peninsula. The 6 UP players include Ishpeming defensive lineman Logan Krulik, Superior Central running back Ruben Fink, Stevenson running back Montel Glover, Iron Mountain wide receiver Charlie Gerbard, Norway offensive lineman Zach Powell, West Iron County long snapper Caden Palizer. Michigan Tech inked 36 recruits, 11 from the UP. And the 2019 NASCAR season gets underway this Sunday with the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona International Speedway. The Clash has generally served as a preseason warm-up race ahead of the Daytona 500 the following week. Michigan native Brad Kalowski won last year's 75-lap event, navigating through a last-lap crash to win. The winner of the Clash has gone on to win the Daytona 500 6 times. The last being Denny Hamlin in 2016. The 61st running of the Daytona 500 takes place February 17th at 2:30 p.m.
Well, Julian, are you headed out to the basketball games tonight?
Not tonight.
Oh, well, I am, and I hope that they beat Saginaw Valley.
I really do hope so, too.
And that's all the time we have today on Public Eye News, but tune in again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.